Spire Motorsports makes another late season driver change. Kauling Racing has said that their Cup Series program will be without an alliance next season, and Matt DiBenedetto has once again been released by his current team. How's it going, everybody? Welcome back to Talkin NASCAR. I'm your host, Andrew. Thank you for tuning in this week, or today, I should say. Hope your week has been going good. Speaking of the week so far, I got a lot of stuff to talk about in this episode. Some Xfinity Series playoffs continue to go on. Aric Almirola clinched himself into the championship for the owners' playoffs this season once again with that 19 car. Spire Motorsports makes some silly season changes. Lots of stuff that we got to get to today, so let's go ahead and get straight into it. As I just mentioned, Aric Almirola would take the Xfinity Series win at Las Vegas to clinch that 19 car a spot in the Owners' Points Championship for. And for those of you who aren't aware, which maybe most of you at this point, the Owners' Points is a separate point standings alongside the Drivers' Point standings, the playoff standings, and the manufacturer point standings. You don't have to worry about the manufacturer point standings. But basically, the Owners' standings are all the cars broken up together, and the car that has the highest position in the owners playoffs, whoever wins the owners championship, the owner of that car gets a little bit extra payout, a little extra bonus check, if you will, at the end of the season. And what several teams in the Xfinity Series will do is that they will have these all-star cars. For the 19 car, for example, they'll have Aric Almirola, they'll have guys like Jack Perkins get in that car, they'll have some other drivers get behind the wheel. Last year was Josh Bilicki in that 19 car. Mostly this year it's been Aric Almirola, and what Aric Almirola will do is that he'll go out there, get a couple wins every now and then. He won't run full-time because he doesn't realistically want to do that, but in doing that, he will win several races, and he'll win races like this at Las Vegas. It will clinch him a spot in the Owners' Final Four, and then he'll have a chance to compete for the Owners' Championship, which he's doing for Joe Gibbs to get a little bit extra cash at Phoenix in a couple weeks. So there's that. Aric Almirola picks up the win, locks that 19 car up a spot in the Owners' Championship. Connor Zilisch finished inside the top 5 as well, started in second, finished in second. Justin Allgaier's teammate right behind him in third. How about Corey Day, the Hendrick Development driver, finished in fourth, his first top 5, I believe, in Xfinity in that 17 car. And then you got the 5th and 6th place cars of Nick Sanchez and Jesse Love. And these two got after it on pit road. Jesse Love went over to Nick Sanchez, confronted him, was yelling him about it, how Nick Sanchez kind of roughed him up a little bit. Now, I watched some of the highlights, and yes, Nick Sanchez did race Jesse Love a little bit hard, cost Jesse Love a spot, but Jesse Love also got roughed up by Connor Zilisch a little bit, so I think maybe Jesse Love was kind of a little upset overall in that race. And Jesse Love is still the final RCR car in the playoffs, and he is fighting for his life to get that team in the playoffs after his teammate of Austin Hill was eliminated. Continuing on, Ryan Sieg got a top 10, Taylor Gray, Sam Mayer, Austin Hill. You have Sheldon Creed in 11th, two Joe Gibbs Racing drivers of Sawalich and Jones in 12th and 13th, and Harrison Burton and Carson Kvapil rounding out the top 15. And besides that, Trevor Bayne, in his return to the Xfinity Series, finished with a top 25 result. Good day for Trevor Bayne. Josh Williams as well in the number 91 for DGM Racing got a 23rd place finish. So how about that for Josh Williams? And besides that, nothing else really happened. Nothing really that stood out for me from the Xfinity Series race. But taking a look at the playoff standings for the NASCAR Xfinity Series right now, of course, Connor Zilisch leads the way, 82 points above the cut line heading into Talladega next week. Something would have to go disastrously wrong for Connor Zilisch to be eliminated. I wouldn't be surprised after stage 1 if Connor Zilisch makes it that far. He would be locked up into the championship for no matter what. Same for his teammate of Allgaier, 44 points above the cut line. He's not completely locked up. Nobody is, and there is still a chance that Allgaier could get knocked out theoretically with 2 races left to go, but I just have a hard time seeing it, and Justin Allgaier right now in a good position. Jesse Love, I just mentioned him, fighting for his life for RCR, finished in his third right now, 20 points above the cut line. Sam Mayer, the only Ford for Haas Factory Team, 8 points above the cut line. And the first driver out is Brandon Jones for Joe Gibbs Racing, The only Toyota still remaining in the Xfinity Series playoffs, 8 points out. Sheldon Creed, Mayer's teammate, 21 points out. Carson Kvapil, 22 points out. And Sammy Smith, 24 points out. And Kvapil and Sammy Smith did not do themselves any favors at Las Vegas heading into Talladega this week. And also checking out the Truck Series playoffs real quick. Corey Heim locked himself up after Charlotte. They had an off week at Las Vegas, but heading into Talladega, anything is wide open. Everything is so close. Eighth place of Caden Honeycutt is tied with seventh of Grant Enfinger, 4 points out. And the first driver in on points is Raja Karuth, +1, while Ankrum and Daniel Hemrick, second and third, are both 2 points above the cut line. So Talladega can really be flipping the script for the NASCAR Craftsman Truck Series playoffs, because Lane Riggs is still outside the playoffs, and Ty Majeski's still there. Don't forget Ty Majeski as well. But there's a look at the Xfinity Series and the Craftsman Truck Series playoffs. And maybe while we're here, I should probably just take a peek once again at the playoff standings. Once again, Hamlin locked himself up with a victory at Las Vegas just a couple days ago. Larson, Bell, and Briscoe now inside the championship four right now. Briscoe made an aggressive strategy call, James Small did, but was able to get a top 5 finish and now is 15 points above the cut line, a 29-point swing. He was 14 out coming into this race. He's now 15 in to the championship four, while William Byron, 15 points out, Elliott, 23, Logano, 24, and Ryan Blaney, the last driver out, 31 points out of the cut line. But again, anything can happen after Talladega. One little thing here before I move on to some other stories. I saw that thing from Sports Business Journal that Sunoco is working with NASCAR to get another deal set for being the exclusive fuel partner of NASCAR. Sunoco has been a partner of NASCAR, been the exclusive fuel for all the NASCAR teams since 2004, but their contract actually expires after this season. But it sounds like that a renewal is pretty close to being a real thing. And right now, these last couple years, NASCAR has kind of been splitting the gas partnership and the oil partnership with Sunoco and Mobil 1. And there's maybe some talks that Mobil 1 could take over that entirely. But it sounds like now that maybe they'll continue splitting it. We'll have to wait and see on that. But good to see Sunoco, iconic brand in NASCAR, staying around possibly as the the exclusive fuel provider of NASCAR. But moving on, breaking news out of Kauling Racing today. They announced that Joe White, the spotter for the 10 car of Ty Dillon, will no longer be with the team going forward, and Frank Denny will be the spotter for Ty Dillon going forward for the rest of the season. TJ Bell has been hired to take over the spotting duties for the number 16 car of AJ Allmendinger. Now, this is very interesting because we all know on Sunday what happened. Ty Dillon, coming to pit road, gets absolutely clobbered by William Byron because apparently Ty Dillon did not put out a hand signal to William Byron behind him, until Ty Dillon pitting way outside the pit window. William Byron could do nothing. And apparently there was also some fault on the spotter of Joe White. Didn't make any sort of announcement to Brandon Lines, the spotter for William Byron. I definitely thought that there would be some changes with Kauling Racing, but I didn't think it'd be as extreme as firing Joe White. I definitely did not think that it would get to that point. But Frank Denny has been the spotter for AJ Allmendinger this season. He'll be taking over that 10 car. TJ Bell is an experienced spotter. He worked with Corey LaJoie for several years in the 7 car for Spire Motorsports. I don't think he's actually working there this year with Spire. I think they got someone else in there. I think it might have actually been Eddie DeHaan on the spottering stand working with Rodney Childers. I think that might actually have been what was going on there. Anyway, some breaking news out of Kauling Racing, something that tied very, very close to what happened at Las Vegas. Moving on, keeping the episode moving here. Frankie Muniz is back behind the wheel this weekend at Talladega. He will be returning to his 33 truck for Rayum Brothers Racing this weekend in the Truck Series. Recently, Frankie Muniz has been out of the seat since I believe the Darlington weekend due to a non-racing related injury in his wrist, and he put out a statement saying that he's finally back after that nagging wrist injury. Good to see Frankie Muniz back out there. Hasn't been the most impressive rookie season for Frankie Muniz, but he's a really great story, actor turned NASCAR driver, and it's really cool that we get to see Frankie Muniz back in the truck to finish out the season. 3 races left to go. We'll see how Frankie can do, see if he can retain that seat in that 33 truck, and maybe so he can have a little bit of speed. And Talladega, anything can happen. So good luck to Frankie this weekend. Glad to have him back. Hope he does well and hope that he continues to stay in the seat going forward. Ooh. And now we get to some really big news. Spire Motorsports announced that Justin Haley would not be returning to that 7 car after the end of this season. Wow, that is some pretty big news. Justin Haley, 26 years old, has had a bit of a struggle this season after having an amazing season with Rick Ware Racing last season in that 51 car. Ended up getting him traded over to Spire Motorsports, his first home in the NASCAR Cup Series after he won at Daytona in the 77 car back in 2019, I believe. So it was definitely a very interesting career for Justin Haley so far, but first full-time season back with Spire Motorsports, but been an uphill season. Rodney Childers, his team crew chief, left after 9 races in the year. Ryan Sparks takes over that car, and we've seen Justin Haley have a little bit more speed, maybe figuring out how to work with Ryan Sparks, but definitely things have not been going their way. That entire team has been picked clean by Hendrick Motorsports, from pit crews to Cheddar Smith, the race engineer, the car chief of Cheddar Smith. He has been picked off that team like some of the crew members have been. And I remember at Bristol earlier in the year, Justin Haley had some pretty good speed with Rodney Childers on the pit box, with Cheddar Smith still there, but since then, it's just not been it for Spire Motorsports in that 7 car. And just Jeff Dickerson put out a statement today saying, quote, on the matter, "This decision was not taken lightly. Justin has been a member of the Spire family since he was a teenager. We've watched Justin grow from a young driver trying to make his mark in the sport to a proven winner. He helped strengthen our organization into what it is today. He made us winners and returned home after forging his own path in the Cup Series. Justin is the embodiment of a true racer who has quietly become a respected competitor within the NASCAR garage and will be an incredible asset to his next team." And I've made my opinion known on Justin Haley not returning to the seat. I've said that Justin Haley being let go should not be a thing. Justin Haley 100% deserves another opportunity with Spire Motorsports. He's been put in places that he's just been set up to fail. Kauling Racing in 2023, he was set up for disaster right off the bat. The team started floundering, and when he went to Rick Ware Racing, everyone thought it was a career suicide, but he ended up proving himself over there at Rick Ware Racing. Got him an opportunity with Spire, but only half a season later, actually probably full season later, Spire's decided to move on. They want results, and Justin Haley was not giving them. And in my opinion, I feel like this is a little cutthroat, and I think Justin Haley, you got to get someone else on that pit box. You got to bring in some new guys, and overall, Spire's not looked good overall in the second half of the season. Hocevar's taken a big step back. Michael McDowell, after missing the playoffs, has taken a step back. Justin Haley, I mean, I already just said it, hasn't been good after having his entire team picked clean off the bone by Hendrick. So Spire, I think, just needed another year to really figure it out. But in this case, they just didn't have that time, I guess, even though they have Carson Hocevar, who's younger than Justin Haley. But at the same time, I guess they got the veteran of Michael McDowell in there. But Justin Haley, 26 years old, he's going to get another opportunity. I guarantee it. One place in particular that has been that came to mind originally was Kauling's truck program, or at the bare minimum, Kauling's Xfinity program. Because Justin Haley, familiar with Chevrolet, he's familiar with Kauling Racing. Yes, he did leave the team, but he made some starts, I believe, this season with Kauling at Daytona. So Justin Haley is still very familiar with Kauling and probably still has some relationships there. And I don't believe that Chris Rice, Matt Kauling, Ty Norris, they won't be afraid to bring Justin Haley back in. So either the Xfinity or the truck program could be an option. Junior Motorsports in the Xfinity Series could be an option as well. I mean, with Rick Ware Racing's current predicament, maybe he'll want to go back there because right now, I mean, Cody Ware's not doing much. Just there's not a lot of opportunities for Justin Haley, and this is just really bad timing for Haley, at least on the Cup side of things. There's definitely still opportunities in the lower series like the Xfinity and Truck Series. It'll be very interesting to see where he ends up, but you got to feel for Justin Haley because he's just been having to face uphill battle after uphill battle. He deserves to be given a fair shot, in my opinion, and so far in his career, he hasn't been given that fair shot. AM Racing's another one. I mean, AM Racing said they are no longer having Harrison Burton behind the wheel of that car next year. I know that they have Cole Raz as an ARCA driver, but maybe is he ready really? Get someone who is proven to be a good Cup Series veteran. He's been in the Cup Series for a while. He's been around NASCAR for a while. He's a proven Xfinity winner, championship contender. Why not put Justin Haley in that seat? You never know. Let me know down in the comments, though, what you think of this. Who do you think could actually fill this 7-seat for Spire? Probably going to be Daniel Suarez at this point. He's the free agent most coveted out on the market right now. Do I think Suarez is better than Haley? No, I really don't. I think the thing you're getting from Daniel Suarez is consistent sponsor support, while Justin Haley, you may have to go finding some one-off sponsors here and there and rely on Gamebridge to really fund that car. But I don't believe that sacrificing talent for sponsorship is good in any case, and specifically not this one. Getting rid of Justin Haley for Daniel Suarez, I don't know about that one, Chief, but we'll have to wait and see who really gets behind the wheel of that 7 car next season. Real quick, I just mentioned Kauling Racing and their truck program, but earlier today, Chris Rice did an interview, and he confirmed that Kauling Racing will not have an alliance with the RCR group for the 2026 Cup Series season, and same with the Xfinity Series thing. Chris Rice would end up saying, quote, "We're going to be out on our own on Cup. We're not going to be able to alliance with RCR and do those things. So we are building our own Cup program, building our own bodies and different things like that." He went on to say furthermore that they have this plan between him and Matt Kauling for a future goal of the team. They want to be a giant in NASCAR, but they realistically see that being 10 years or 20 years down the road when Chris Rice and Matt Kauling are in their 60s at that point, and they've had conversations with AJ Allmendinger about it and so on and so forth. But yeah, this is definitely interesting, and this all really much stems from Kauling Racing having their new partnership with Ram, and being that they're going to have to build their own bodies and different things like that, having to possibly build their own engines, not getting the support from Chevrolet or ECR. That's definitely going to be a challenge, and this is probably going to be one of the worst seasons for Kauling Racing, but who knows? You still have AJ Allmendinger. Ty Dillon sounds like he's going to be back there next year. I mean, changing out Joe White, as I just mentioned, you never know. So things are going to be challenging next season for Kauling Racing, and I'm not surprised by this. Like, Kauling's made some serious efforts to distance their truck program from their Cup and Xfinity program with Chevrolet, but clearly that wasn't good enough for Chevrolet because now they have cut ties with the team, and I think this really does open the door for Kauling to switch over to Ram and Stellantis when and if and when, I think it's just more of a when, they jump up to the Xfinity and Cup side of things eventually. But very interesting. This is more breaking news today. We're going to have to wait and see where this goes from here, and hopefully Kauling won't be too bad next season. Quite honestly, after what we saw for Legacy Motor Club in 2023, after they announced they'd be switching to Toyota and RCR and Chevrolet just shut off all data, Legacy Motor Club wasn't that bad. They weren't really that bad with Chevrolet. So maybe cutting ties with Chevrolet may be a good thing, maybe a blessing in disguise, because RCR hasn't looked good. Kauling with RCR hasn't been very, very good. I'm just saying. Finally, one more story before we get to power rankings. It was announced today that Matt DiBenedetto will be released by Viking Motorsports effective immediately, and Connor Mozak will finish out the season in that 99 car. And once again, same story. It's Matt DiBenedetto getting released by his current team in NASCAR. For Matt DiBenedetto, this will be the third time in the past couple years that he's been released by his current team. A couple years ago, he was driving for Rackley War Racing in the Truck Series, the 25 truck that currently is being driven by Dawson Sutton. He was released from that team after it was announced that he probably wasn't going to have that seat next year. So they replaced him with Trevor Bayne, I believe, and as well some other guys. I think, was it Dawson Sutton or was it someone else? I forget who was behind the wheel of that truck, but ended up Matt DiBenedetto did not have that seat for the final couple races. Ended up not being able to have a ride for the first half of the Xfinity Series, or the first half of the season in 2024, because he apparently had to deal with Kauling Racing to go Cup Series racing on a part-time schedule. But sponsorship fell through once again for Matt DiBenedetto, and that's been a thing that has just really been an issue for him. Lack of sponsorship, lack of opportunities for Matt DiBenedetto. Ended up finding a ride with Viking Motorsports, a kind of spin-off team from RSS Racing owned by Ryan Sieg. And this year, Viking Motorsports officially broke off and joined Chevrolet with an alliance from ECR Engines, and the performance wasn't really there. Viking Motorsports cited a one top 10 finish and a 22nd points position. That was just insufficient for them, I guess. But, realistically, what were you expecting? first year with Chevrolet. Like, you expect Matt Benedetto to make the playoffs? Like, yeesh, I don't know about that. I mean, he's doing a little bit better than what they did last year, but maybe they're just searching around for a new guy. For Connor Mozak, like, looking at him just for a brief moment, this could be a really good opportunity for him. Another Chevrolet team, a chance to move up in the ranks of NASCAR, get another opportunity. I talked about it a little while ago that Connor Mozak said that he's not sure that if he's going to be with his current Truck Series team of McAnally Hilgman Racing next season. So this could be a big tryout for Connor Mozak going forward. So we'll have to wait and see how he does in the final 3 races. But this will be effective immediately. This time, like, Matt DiBenedetto's been known to burn bridges, like leave a bad taste in everyone's mouth with his former team. I mean, he did it with the Wood brothers in the Cup Series after he got suspended for something he said on a Twitch stream. He did it with Rackley War after some things he said with that team. He kind of said some stuff about Kauling and like some of the sponsorships. So Matt DiBenedetto's been known to burn bridges, but in this case, I got a feel for Matty D because this isn't his fault, and I think this is the team being a little impatient, but hopefully Matt DiBenedetto gets another ride very, very soon for 2026. Hopefully Xfinity. We'll have to wait and see, though. But now let's go ahead and move on to the final segment of the episode, my power rankings. Every week, I come in with each episode every week to rank the top 10 fastest drivers and teams in the NASCAR Cup Series. Let's see if your driver made the cut this week after Las Vegas. Starting off at number 10 here, I got Joey Logano. Down a couple spots, but Logano definitely did not have the best car at Las Vegas. Didn't have it last year, but some aggressive pit strategy by Paul Wolf granted him a pretty solid result. Didn't really make a dent in his playoff bubble situation, but he didn't really lose any points either, so net gain overall for Joey Logano. Heading to Talladega, he's pretty good at drafting tracks, one of the best blockers in the NASCAR Cup Series, but will that be enough heading into the round of 8? Can he continue to bounce back? Will he bounce back at Martinsville? That's the track that I'm going to be watching out for. The short, flat ovals for Penske is going to be very decisive for both him and his teammate of Ryan Blaney, who we'll get to in just a little bit. At number 9, I got Chris Buescher. Finished just outside the top 10, but all of RFK has looked really, really good these past couple weeks. Priest finished inside the top 10, I believe. Keselowski was there in the mix, same with Buescher as well. So all 3 RFK cars looked very, very solid, but Chris Buescher has been the most consistent out of the rest. He did move down 1 spot, but I mean, he's still been very, very consistent overall. Talladega, Super Speedway, Ford's been pretty good there. We'll have to wait and see how Buescher does at Talladega. Moving on, though, to number 8, I've got Tyler Reddick. Back-to-back weeks with pretty solid cars. I mean, the Roval, he qualified on pole, just didn't have the speed overall, and some bad pit strategy really kind of took him out of it. But Reddick was able to roll that high line very, very well, had really good speed. Shouldn't be surprising. He was very good here in the last couple Las Vegas races. He was competing with Kyle Larson in one of them. But Reddick, very solid week. He's back inside the top 10. Super Speedways haven't been always very kind to him, but he did win Talladega back last year in the spring in 2024. Can Reddick repeat? We'll have to wait and see. And can he spoil the round of 8? We'll have to wait and see. But moving on to number 7, I've got William Byron. For the first time pretty much since his win at Iowa, this looked like a good championship contending William Byron. Won a stage, led a good amount of laps until he lost it from Kyle Larson, and then he obviously got involved in that big crash with Ty Dillon. But besides that, William Byron looked really, really good in that race. And moving forward, Martinsville, he has been very good there. All of Hendrick Motorsports has been very good there. And same for Talladega. He's been very good at drafting tracks. He's won back-to-back Daytona 500s. Do never count out Willie B at the Super Speedway. So Byron at 7. At number 6, I've got Ryan Blaney moving down 1 spot once again. His 8th DNF on the season at Las Vegas. Had a left front tire go down, ended up hitting the outside wall. It's becoming a trend now for Blaney at Las Vegas. I think last year in practice, he had a tire issue. He might have had one in this race in practice before this race as well. So maybe Penske and Blaney were kind of experimenting on something they shouldn't have. But Blaney, back-to-back, really kind of underwhelming weeks. Kind of overall just 3 really underwhelming weeks. Kansas didn't have a lot of speed. The Roval didn't really have a lot of speed either. New Hampshire, I mean, he obviously won the race, but I mean, it's just been kind of a downward spiral for Ryan Blaney. Again, at drafting track, he won this race back in 2023 to get to the championship 4 and set him up for a championship in 2023. In Martinsville, he's won the race these past couple seasons. Last year, he wanted to get to the championship four. Never count out Blaney and Penske overall at the short flat ovals. At number 5, I got Chase Elliott. Moving down one spot, did not have the finish he wanted. 18th, not great. Kind of dug himself more of a hole in his playoff situation. But Elliott, I think, had a top 10 car and was in position to be on the cut line, being the first driver out, heading into Talladega, a good drafting track. But after a bad pit stop, an uncontrolled tire penalty, a couple mistakes on pit road, Elliott found himself in a track position disadvantage and could not really claw his way back forward. That dirty air could not move forward at all for Chase Elliott. The good thing is, though, he's been good at Martinsville and Talladega. He's been very good out before. 2022, he won this race to lock himself into the championship four. Man, I'm kind of starting to see a trend a little bit among drivers that have locked themselves into the championship four. They've won Talladega. Blaney, Elliott, Stenhouse won it last year, so he doesn't count, I guess. But Elliott definitely got to watch in these next couple 2 races. Can Elliott do it? We'll have to wait and see. Moving on, though, to number 4, I have Christopher Bell. Had a pretty good result, top 10 finish for the Joe Gibbs Racing driver after having some mediocre weeks, but Bell has been starting to heat back up. The Roval was one of the few drivers that could actually contend with Shane Van Gisbergen. Kansas actually found a little bit more speed, and roughly he ran back into Shane Van Gisbergen at Las Vegas, made some contact, ended up spinning SVG and Ty Gibbs, his teammate, out on that big restart crash. So that was kind of a little bit funny there. But besides that, Bell had really good speed once again, and I think right now he's been pretty solid. He finds himself above the cut line, and he won that Martinsville race back in 2022 to lock himself into the championship four, to win his way on a walk-off win. So never count out Bell. A lot of these guys have been very good at Martinsville. Talladega, just the one outlier. That's the theme you're going to kind of get here. Bell at 4. At number 3, I have Chase Briscoe. Didn't have the best car, kind of like Logano, but a bold strategy call by James Small got him some track position, and even though he was on a tire disadvantage, was able to kind of slow down Hamlin for a little bit, but really couldn't hold on to the lead. Still got a pretty solid result, though. 5th place, pretty good for Chase Briscoe. Once again, like I just mentioned earlier in this episode, he had a 29-point swing, and now he's the last driver in on points in the championship four, marking 3 Gibbs cars currently in to the championship four right now. Can Briscoe hold on? That's the big question. We'll have to wait and see. Chase Briscoe at 3. At number 2, I have his teammate of Denny Hamlin. And you guys might come after me in the comments saying that, oh, why is he not number 1? Well, the reason is he was in 6th last week, and I don't think a win's really going to swing it that much to me, especially with Talladega coming up. And Martinsville, Hamlin's been good at Martinsville, but there's been some guys on this list that are just a little bit better. Hamlin obviously got the win, was probably one of the better cars. Didn't have the best car on like the long run, on the short runs especially, but his crew chief of Chris Gale made some adjustments to make that car better on the short run, and it paid off, and Hamlin got an emotional victory. Despite everything that's been going on in his life with his dad, with several of his things, he got a new baby at home, he's in a lawsuit, he owns a race team, Hamlin's still been able to adapt very, very well, and he picked up the win. So Hamlin at 2, but at number 1, I got Kyle Larson. Was one of the better cars all day long. Probably had the best long run car, but on the short run, couldn't really do anything. Wasn't able to run down Denny Hamlin late in the going at Las Vegas, but won another stage. And it's safe to say that Kyle Larson probably is back. 2 really good races for Larson, and actually 3 really overall. Kansas, he was very, very good. Charlotte, he contended with SVG. Now this week at Las Vegas, he just was so good. Won a stage once again, led a bunch of laps. He was the best overall driver, I would say, in that race. It's just maybe he couldn't really compete on the short run, so maybe I'd have to give that to maybe Hamlin or Byron. But there you go. That's my top 10 after Las Vegas this week. Once again, to recap: 1, I have Kyle Larson. 2, Denny Hamlin. 3, Chase Briscoe. 4, Christopher Bell. 5, Chase Elliott. 6, Ryan Blaney. 7, William Byron. 8, Tyler Reddick. 9, Chris Buescher. And 10, Joey Logano. So let me know down in the comments what you think, who should be on this list, who maybe should be off this list. Let me know down in the comments section below. One more thing here before I take off here in this episode. I want to just mention that this is probably going to be my last episode, at least until Sunday when I do my race recap for Talladega. I'm going on a little vacation with my family, so I'll be unavailable with that for the next couple days. I'm going to be taking some time off from this. But I'll be back on Sunday. I may post 1 or 2 episodes. Maybe I'll post like a big one on Monday night, depending on how my schedule looks. But barring that, this will probably be my last episode for a couple days, just to get your kind of schedule going here. So hopefully you guys can understand that. Maybe take a little bit of time off. So, but with that, that's all I got for you guys today. Hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, please leave a like down below if you're listening on YouTube, and subscribe if you're listening on YouTube. And if you're listening on any other podcast platforms, please hit that follow so you never miss an upload on this show. And if you like this episode, go check out all my other ones. They're available on the channel, and they're available on Spotify, Apple Podcasts. You'll find them. I trust you guys. Don't worry. And also go check out Talking Sports with Miles and Andrew, the show I co-host with, talking about sports overall broadly. It's a lot of fun for me. I think you'll really, really like it. So I encourage you guys to go check that out. Down in it will be Talking Sports W, Miles and Andrew. Hope you guys go enjoy that one. But I will see you very, very soon. Hope you enjoy the rest of your week. I will see you probably on Sunday or Sunday night. Until then, hope you have a great rest of your week, great weekend, and I will see you then. Have a great rest of your day, everybody.